Hey everyone, welcome back to Third Shot Podcast. It's been a little while, but we've got a great episode in store for you. Before we jump into it, and a really big announcement that we are so excited to share with you, please head on over to our social media, Instagram and Facebook at Third Shot Podcast, or on X at Third Shot Pod. Feel free to also go into YouTube and find us at Third Shot Podcast, where you can watch us and all of our previous episodes.
How's it going, Brigie?
It's going great. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm excited for the new season of Third Shot. Can't wait to have another exciting season with you.
I'm very excited as well. And yeah, let's get to it. I can't wait to share this big news.
I know. It's New Year and we got huge news and we just can't wait. So let's bring on our guests and help us make this big announcement. We are so excited to kick off 2026 by bringing on Denise and Will Richards, the founders of Dill Dinkers Indoor Pickleball. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you.
Yes.
Kicking
Gonna be
it
a big
off.
one.
Yeah, so we teased that we have a huge announcement. Please help us make this announcement.
Well, I think the huge announcement is that you and your team have become Dill Dinkers franchisees for all of Las Vegas.
Yeah!
Yes.
Woo!
Those of you in Las Vegas, a new club will be coming your way around April 2026.
With 11 pro cushion courts
That's
for
right.
to make your body feel really good after you play pickleball.
Well, let's celebrate the announcement by taking our first shot.
Yeah.
Yes. Cheers.
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 I got Bailey's in mine. What are you guys drinking?
Lily's here as well.
I have vodka.
Nice.
Love it.
This will relax me for the podcast and, it'll be good.
It was funny. Denise says, we need shot glasses for this. I'm like, geez, when's the last time we've used shot glasses? Because our daughters, when they were graduating high school, they took all of our shot glasses. So I managed to find a shot glass that we got when we were in Ireland.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
It's a shot glass on an angle, and it says, "This should straighten you out."
Oh, funny. Well, now that you two are relaxed and we've got the exciting news out there, tell our listeners a little bit more about Dill Dinkers and yourselves, your background, and how you all started this franchise.
So it really started with Denise bringing home a pickleball set from, where did you get it?
He always blames me for all this.
Costco.
At the grocery store, yes.
She literally said to me, "We are going to play pickleball," and I had never heard of it. And this was a little over 3 years ago. So having no idea how to play it, we contacted our brother-in-law, or my brother-in-law. Is it our brother-in-law?
Mm-hmm.
Our brother-in-law, because he's Game Boy, he plays every game on the planet. And we said, "So, do you know how to play pickleball?" He goes, "Oh yeah." So we met at a local park that has 2 outdoor pickleball courts. Which, a little fun fact: back in the day when Ben Johns and Colin Johns were getting started with pickleball, there was only 2 pickleball courts in the entire state of Maryland.
Wow.
And those were the courts that they used to practice on before they became, household names, at least in pickleball households anyway. So it was just kind of funny that that's where we played our first pickleball game. We were practicing on the tennis courts. And Denise loves to tell this story. We went over to watch people playing pickleball, and tell them what happened.
Yeah, so after we practiced a little bit on the courts, we went over to watch them and just to kind of see what it looked like in action. And within 5 minutes, they were coming over asking us to play. And I literally said no 5 times because I had literally no confidence at this point. And I was just not comfortable like playing with people who knew what they were doing. But I said no 5 times and they finally like pulled us out there. We had no choice but to get out there. And one of my fondest memories, and this was my introduction to pickleball, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, is they were so patient and welcoming and helpful and happy to have us on those courts. And they just made it a really comfortable situation, and we had a lot of fun. So,
I mean,
yeah,
isn't that the beauty of pickleball
it
community?
is.
Is like it's so welcoming and inviting, and it's all about fun. I think that's what Dill Dinkers is all about, is building
Mhm.
that community, and that's what we're excited to do in the Vegas market. So from that point, what took you to the point of, hey, we want to make this a business. We want to open up our own facility, and then I think it has something to do with an outhouse somewhere. I've heard a story about an outhouse, so I'd love for you guys to share that story.
So so back in the day, when we got married, we eloped to the Bahamas, and our really good friends eloped with us. So we got married on the beach of the Bahamas. It was really cool. So every February 15th, we get together with them again and just hang out. And they live outside of Philadelphia in a place called Percy. So we were talking and we told them that we started playing pickleball, and Karen Chaplin, Denise's friend, was like, "Oh, I started playing pickleball too, and I know where we can go." So we went up and visited them, and on a Saturday night, they booked some courts online, which we had no idea what we were in for. We just knew we were going to go play pickleball. So it was only 7 o'clock at night. It was like 25 degrees outside. And we drove up to this place. It was a converted horse barn at the end of this country road with no heat and no restrooms. And the place was full. Like all 5 courts were going. It was a 6-person per court open play. People had their winter coats on and gloves, and they were playing pickleball. And there was literally no structure. Like there was one really high level guy that was just beating everybody, and the rules were posted on the wall. There was no employees here. The rules were posted, and after you won twice, you were supposed to come off the court. Well, he never left. And he was taking great pride in the fact that he was just whooping up on everybody. So the thought just occurred to me, because I did the math, how many people are there, how much we paid. I'm like, wow, and there's no employees. And that's where the idea came. Like, we could do this, and we could do it so much better. The bar was so low. Provide heat and provide restrooms.
And a couple staff members. We could do so much better.
Yes. So that's where I got the idea while playing that night. And then there is this affliction out there, which, Greg, I think you've probably gotten it too. It's called pickle brain.
Oh my
Where
gosh, I can't sleep.
you
Doesn't
get
turn
going
off.
and you can't sleep. And all that night I'm tossing and turning and I'm thinking about this, and Denise is kicking me saying, "Go sleep on the couch." So that night I came up with the original name of Dill Dinkers. We were going to call it the Kitchen Dink. So when I got home after the trip, I looked it up on the Federal Trademark Registry, and somebody had taken it. So that's when the month-long journey to name our company started. And I think you've probably heard the story, Greg, but your audience hasn't. So I would come up with a name. I would come up to Denise's office, and she would say, "No, that's stupid. That's boring. We can do better than that." And I'm getting really frustrated. And my daughter Abby was home from school, and she was in the kitchen making a sandwich. And I was like in our little den area, and I kind of leaned over and I looked through the window that leads into the kitchen. And I said, "Abby, what would you call an indoor pickleball place?" Now, granted, she's never played pickleball. She only knows that we do it and that we're talking about doing this thing. So while making her sandwich, she's putting mayonnaise in her. I'll just never forget this moment. She's putting mayonnaise on her sandwich, and she looked up at the kitchen ceiling and she goes, "I would call it Dill Dinkers. I'm like, wow, that's kind of a cool name. So then I'm crossing my fingers and I'm going upstairs to talk to the queen. And I'm like, Abby says we should call it Dill Dinkers. And after like 50 tries at names, she goes, oh, yeah, that's kind of cute. Let's go with that. And that's literally
So
so
easy.
Yeah.
I go downstairs and I said, Abby, can you brand our company? And she says, oh, no problem, but I'll need a new computer. Okay. So we got in the car, we drove to Best Buy, and I gave her a budget. And of course, she went way over the budget. We came back home, and Denise and I were watching TV, and Abby disappeared in her room, and she came out like 3 hours later with our original logo, with the colors, everything. So, you know, some companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to name and brand their company. For us, it was our daughter, and she does not let us forget that.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Well, thank you, Abby, for all the hard work
Yeah.
because it's a fantastic brand.
Right.
And I'll
Thank you.
bet when you open, Abby's going to be there. It's in Las
Aw.
Vegas.
That's amazing. I love that it was kind of built and grown within your family. And I think, you know, Uncle and I are similar with our podcast too. So that really hits home for us. And
Mhm.
another reason why we love Dill Dinkers so much.
So it really was, Dill Dinkers was born out of the need to get more courts.
Yeah, we saw a problem and we really felt like we had a solution. And it kind of all happened at a time where, you know, it was winter here and we were fighting the ice and the snow and the leaves and the rain and all of those elements that was preventing us from playing. So, you know, based on all those experiences, you know, we just felt like we had a really good solution.
Mhm.
Yeah, you do. And you know, in Vegas, it's not the snow, but it's the heat. It's
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
wind, it's the rain, it's the cold, but it's no snow. Very
Right.
rarely. Although I have been in Vegas when it snowed. Somehow I brought the snow into Vegas. I don't know how, but you know, it's like you don't have to deal with the elements, right?
Mhm.
You're
Right.
indoors. You have the perfect climate. You don't have to deal with sun. Like
Yes.
I mean, that's the vision that makes it so comfortable that you don't have to worry about, oh, is it going to be good environment to play in today? It's always a good environment in the Dill Dinkers.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
right.
And you know, we had developed this community of about 20 players before we started the first Dill Dinkers. And you know, it's the critical part about pickleball and being successful in the indoor environment is developing that community and giving people a sense of belonging. So out of those original 20 players that we played with, they all moved in right directly inside our facility. Several of them became investors. And then with our first facility, we got more investors. And then several of our regional developers came from that first location, people that played at Dill Dinkers. So for us, it's critical. Like when I go out in the field and I'm visiting locations, is to kind of, there's no way to quantify it, but it's like a vibe. It's like what you feel when you're in the club. You go to some clubs and it's kind of, you know, it's all geared towards just like really high level players, and it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Clicky, if you will. Where a Dill Dinkers is a vibrant community, and these people, they do things together. Like our original group of 20 people, you know, in some cases, like one of the people that were in our group was somebody I'd worked with for 10 years at another company and kind of lost track of her after a while. And then as we're looking for more players to play, we start reaching out to people from our past, and then they start playing, and then they get integrated into the fabric of the little community that you built. And then all of a sudden you have all these great relationships. You're going to Christmas parties together. You're doing all this stuff. So we realized that community was a huge part of pickleball and success.
And I think a lot of, you know, when we were playing pickleball in the early days, it really taught us, like, what are the good things about pickleball, like the community, the friendships, all of those types of things. And we wanted to replicate that when we started Dill Dinkers. All the good things, all the things that work. And on that, through those experiences too, we also learned what didn't work, right? And so then we found solutions to those things as well. And some of those things, just as an example, where we provide the balls for our players at no charge, because we don't want them chasing balls and worrying about getting their balls back. And we know what works best on the courts, right? So the other thing was constant interruptions in your games when we were playing outdoors. You know, that's an example of something that we wanted to find a solution to. So, you know, fencing around the courts with private entrances, supplying the balls, all those things take away all those, you know, typical interruptions when you're playing outside.
Yeah, one of our big focuses is to reduce friction. Like when you decide you're going to go play pickleball, you want to make it so that, you know, they book their court online, they come in, they hit the scanner, and they go right to their court. And then, of course, we provide a lot of guidance as to who you should play with. Now, you can just rent a court and do whatever you want with it. But for like open plays and special events, we kind of tell people based on levels where you should play to get the best possible games. Because part of the outside experience that we used to deal with was a total lack of structure, insufficient fencing. The courts were stacked so that you had to walk across courts to get to your court, balls flying all over the place, and lack of structure as to who you're going to wind up playing with. Like if you just show up at the local park here where we live to play, well, people are like, well, what level are you? You know, you just get hit with a whole bunch of questions. And then you run into the fact that people don't want to leave. Like, you know, you book the court online, but, oh, just one more point. Meanwhile, the score is 2-1. And they're like, oh, let us finish this game. And next thing you know, it's like 15 minutes past your time, and it causes this cascade effect where everybody that shows up is off schedule at that point. So eliminating all that friction was a big part of how we came up with what we did.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of sitting here smiling too because we've experienced that ourselves going to the parks, and Dill Dinkers really has found a way to eliminate all of that conflict and provide a really great experience for every person who comes in. Can you share with our listeners who may not have visited a Dill Dinkers yet what type of amenities they could expect when they do go to a Dill Dinkers?
Sure. Well, the biggest amenity we provide is a welcoming staff that loves pickleball. And so that's what you get when you first walk in the door. And we have, of course, most of the clubs now have the cushioned courts and the fencing, and we provide balls. We have free demo paddles. We have a pro shop. We have, a lot of them have party rooms so that you can rent. And what am I forgetting?
Oh, you're on a roll.
Talk a little bit about the like leagues or you know clinics.
Sure. Yeah. So we have every programming you can imagine. If you want a duper event or just a social event, we provide 7-week leagues that are extremely popular and very successful. We have classes and clinics and open plays and private courts and round robins.
We have singles night.
Singles mingles.
Very popular event.
Yes.
Brigie, that might work in Vegas, huh? The single mingles.
So.
That might work.
Glow in the dark pickleball is really popular.
I'll never forget our first singles mingles night. I'm like, oh, let me go check this out. And I go and I'm sitting behind the desk, and all these women are just coming in like looking at me. Like, I'm not on the menu. But yeah, our mature clubs are just bastions of fun and community. And I just, when I went to our opening in Satellite Beach, Florida, I had to speak in front of like 200 people. And this whole community part is very near and dear to our hearts. Because it's what started us on this road. And I'm saying to myself, I'm not going to get emotional. within like a minute, I'm like getting all emotional and my tears are welling up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a wimp. But that was
But Denise, you're the one that gets emotional.
Always,
Yes.
always. No matter how hard I try, I can't help myself.
Yeah, we just love it when it all comes together and a facility is firing on the same cylinders that we fired on with our first club. Yeah, it's a really great journey, and people all over our network can hardly wait for you to open.
Oh, really?
Because when you become a member of a Dill Dinkers, you're a member of every Dill Dinkers. You can go and get membership benefits. So there's going to be a lot of parties or people getting together and going to Las Vegas, like a pickleball travel kind of thing. And they're going to swamp your facility. That is for sure. So we're really looking forward to that. The first time, like we've always had that, but it didn't really hit us how critical it was going to be until we opened up in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And Denise and I went down there for the grand opening. And we saw at least a half a dozen players from other clubs. And they were like, oh, yeah, we wouldn't miss this. It's Hilton Head.
Yeah. And Sarasota was the same way.
Yeah.
St. Petersburg just opened, and there was lots of people there from other clubs. And it's going to be huge in Vegas for sure.
Absolutely. We can't wait.
We can't wait.
And pickleball has given us an opportunity to, like when I was at Satellite Beach, I got to meet Yvonne Lendl. So he lives right down the street from that location. And Lynette Rosales, the RD there and franchisee, she said she was in the club and this guy they were under construction. He was peering in the window, and she went out to like give him some information. But I was like, oh my God, it's Yvonne Lendl, because he's a big pickleball player now. So it's given us an opportunity to really meet all kind of interesting people. I met Jerome Bettis at an MLP event.
Oh, yeah, NFL.
And Larry Fitzgerald. It's just an amazing sport, and the people that it attracts, it's so welcoming. It really is.
Yeah, Denise was mentioning a little bit about the class and the clinics that we're going to have in Vegas, and all the Dill Thinkers have it. Will, you had talked to us a little bit about a new certification process that is exciting coming to Dill Thinkers.
So Dill Dinkers is involved with a joint venture with a company called My Journey. And together we developed a certified pickleball program where you sign up. It's a nominal fee for a year. And you get a couple of things. You get a branded paddle label to identify you as a certified pickleball player. You also get LinkedIn badges, Facebook badges, and I believe a couple of other of the social media things gives you like a pickleball badge. You can also get a free AI look at your play to give you a rating. And we're going to be including discount codes for different paddle brands or Pickleball Central. We're still working through that process, but Certified Pickleball Player went live about 2 weeks ago. And it's going to be a way to really help drive community at a much higher level. When you become a certified pickleball player, you actually show up on a national map as a player. So people can actually reach out to you, and you can set up games or whatever. So we're pretty excited about it. We want more people drinking the Kool-Aid.
Nice.
Well, once they drink, it's hard to get them off.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So Greg, tell me about with your journey with Dill Dinkers. How did you find us, and what made you take the leap?
Well, it's been about a little over a year since my good friends and I got together for a Christmas party back in, I guess, December of 2024. And these are all college buddies of mine that we were all business majors. And ever since college days and we were hanging out, we all thought, gosh, it wouldn't be great if we could actually have a business together. And, one thing leads to another, and we all went our separate ways, and none of us have ever done a business together. But we've talked about it literally every year for, I don't know how many years now, but for a long time. And at that party, it came up again, and I mentioned, because of the podcast, it just seems like a great opportunity to open up an indoor pickleball facility. And if I were to do it, I want to do it with Brigie down in Las Vegas because there's so many positive reasons why you should do
Mm,
it in Vegas. We
Mhm.
mentioned the weather and we mentioned the travelers. Just the pickleball community in general in Las Vegas is so strong. I mean, Bridgie and I go play, at the local parks and stuff like that. And it's just a great group of people that
Mhm.
we've had a chance to meet. So it just seemed like all the stars were aligning that we should open up an indoor pickleball facility in Las Vegas. So I went on a deep dive on, should we do it on our own? Should we join a franchise? If we're going to do a franchise, which franchise? And I interviewed everybody. Like, I
Mhm.
won't mention names, but I've interviewed everybody. And I interviewed a lot of, private people that are doing it on their own. And through that research, I decided that I wanted to come out and meet the two of you. And I talked to Dr. Ben, and Dr. Ben says, "All right, come out." And this was in February of 2025. Come out. And I made a request. I said, "Can I meet Denise and Will in person at this trip?" Because I thought I was just going to meet Dr. Ben. He was going to kind of give me the pitch, and maybe we, talk a little bit. And there was a discovery day that you were having. And he goes, "Okay, let me arrange a dinner with both of them." So I flew out early, and the four of us got together for a really nice dinner where I got to know the two of you. And I got to hear your vision and a lot of the things that we're talking about on this podcast, plus more. And it made me feel really good about the spirit and what the people that were behind Dill Dinkers. And I wasn't feeling that in any other conversation that I was having, whether it was private or with the other franchises. And
Hmm.
then, Will, you were nice enough to actually drive me around to 5 different clubs around Maryland and introduce me to the owners or the managers. I got to talk to the members, and we spent the whole day just driving around in the car, talking, sharing ideas. And, it just solidified for me that this was the right path. Dill Dinkers by far for me was absolutely the clear decision. So I came back, talked to my partners, Chris and Paul, which I love. I got to talk about this background. Chris Paul is a famous basketball player, probably going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's still playing right now. Played for the Warriors for a year. And right now there's a rookie named Will Richard playing for the Warriors right now. And I think of you every time I watch the game. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so I went to Discovery Day and got to meet some of the other franchisees or people that are interested in being a franchisee. Some of them are franchisees right now. And I just came back and I talked to Chris and Paul and I said, this is the path that I think we should take. And
mm.
through a couple more meetings, we made it happen. And through this journey, we got Bridgie to come on board full time with us, and
Yeah,
we're ready to rock and roll. I mean, it's been a fantastic journey, and just all the people, all the different franchisees that I met, the regional developers that I met in Dill Dinkers, and all the management, the team that you've put together is just really special.
Oh,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it has definitely been an interesting journey. The one thing that we didn't mention earlier was we were only going to have one location. Um, the plan was for Denise to run it, and I was going to continue working with my contracting job. Um, and it just kind of went off and spun out of orbit with opening more franchising. Um, it's funny. I meet independent club owners around the country, and many of them say, "Oh yeah, we're going to franchise." Like they literally have no idea the level of complexity that is involved with franchising. Not only running a club and setting it all up, but franchising it and getting it out there.
It's
Um,
it's it's intense. I've been a business owner my whole life, different businesses. And I think I'm a pretty sharp guy. I mean, I think I help other businesses run their businesses. I think if I tried to do it on my own, I would have failed. I know I would have failed. And it's just through the programs and the processes that you've already set up for, all of your clubs that give them the best chance to succeed. And I just really believe that the people that are trying to do it on their own, I think it's just a much tougher road to hoe, to try to do that. And
Yeah,
I have to tell you, Denise, the reason why I really signed and wanted to be an RD with Dill Dinkers is because we shared dinner. So we share dessert. That's a sign. That's a sign we're family. We can share the meals together. Very first time we're meeting, we're sharing. I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, that's an indicator. We're good. We're good.
That is so funny that you bring that up. I mean, I remember that dinner, and I just remember how easy it was to be around you and how natural the conversation was. And it was just so comfortable. And so that was a good sign for us too.
Yeah, so the whole process, our candidates are vetting us and we're vetting them. We don't accept everybody that comes along. Likewise, not everybody wants to jump on board with us because, we're not the glitzy, really expensive place. Like we're just pickleball for pickleball players. We don't have food, we don't have beverage. Some of our locations have a beer wall now. A couple people are experimenting with that. We don't have any major food service anywhere because our feeling is you need to pick a lane and you need to be really good at it. So we stripped it down to minimal. It's pickleball. It's come in, play, have a great time, hang out for a little bit, and then the next wave of players comes in. Like we have facilities right now that the utilization is in the high 90s. You don't just walk in and get a court. They're all booked. There's a maturity process as a facility goes through this process of becoming more mature and being around longer and longer. And that's what we like to try to replicate around the country is have this third place for people to go to hang out and play. But we also we don't want people overspending on these facilities because we literally have figured out what the secret sauce is, and it's staying in your lane, frictionless, just having fun.
And to your point, Greg, earlier, it's so interesting to me because when you walk into a pickleball place, it looks like, one or two people there working. And it's like, so what's the hard part? You just go in and you play pickleball. Like, how much could there possibly be to putting this business together? So from the outside looking in, it looks pretty simple, right? But when you're actually doing it, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that need to be in place to ensure you're successful. So that's what we work really hard at in terms of like supporting our franchisees and our regional developers is all of those tools and things that you need to be successful.
Well, one of the things that you guys do, which I think is really, really special, and Denise, you can talk to this because you were just at the Cattells who opened up in St. Pete. They were previously on our show. They're talking about how excited they were. Well, they just had their opening week, and you go down there with a team to make
Yeah.
sure that everything's working properly. So talk a little bit about what they have in St. Pete and talk about all the other clubs that are open because how many clubs are now open?
24.
24 nationwide.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And we have another like 15 that are either under construction, have a lease. Yeah, that's about another 15.
And I saw an article that you're the fastest growing indoor pickleball franchise in the country right now.
And, some people think that, the numbers are, we have a competitor that is significantly ahead of us because they had a 2-year head start. And they're a good growing company. And then we have a couple of other competitors that we're ahead of them by like 5 or 6 units or whatever. But we can get these things going really quick. Like we could have many more locations open right now. But the reason we don't is we're very particular on what our franchisees sign up for. Like we don't want you to just go out and get a location and just to put a pin on a map and start collecting royalties. And you and I went through this process where I came out and visited potential locations with you, and there's a whole process of making sure that the lease makes sense. And you went through that with us too, so that it isn't about just going out and grabbing a warehouse spot. It's about there's a lot to go behind finding the right location. And I would be remiss not to mention, so Brian Lloyd, who is our chief pickleball officer, who was also our first employee, he was the one who we had a brief phone call when the announcement was made about the first Dill Dinkers. And we had a couple people call us within hours. Once it was on, and here's another funny story. We didn't even know it was going to be on the news. Like we signed the lease, they sent out a press release, and that evening we were on the Baltimore news.
Wow.
No idea that was coming. And my only thought was, wow, I'm glad I don't owe anybody any money because they know where to find me.
They found you. You've been
No
outed.
warrants off my arrest. Everything was good. So Brian called us and we set up a meeting at Barnes & Noble for coffee. And I thought it was going to be like a 15-minute. I really didn't know what he wanted. He had a whole presentation and we were there for 2 hours. And we quickly realized we have no idea what we're doing. We're business people. I've gone out and got leases for Domino's Pizza. We've done many things over the years, but there's a complexity to pickleball that most people don't realize. And Brian really shared that with us. And I remember being in the car with Denise and saying to her, we have to hire him because if we don't, we're going to fail. So now Brian we call him the third leg of our stool. Between the three of us, I have my expertise, Denise has hers, Brian has his. And then we started adding people to the mix, like Dr. Ben, Carrie, Rob, our CTO, Roy, our CFO. These are people that we've known for many, many years, and we've kind of brought them all together. And
a nice thing too, I think, with Brian and myself that we bring to our franchisees is we actually worked in a club. We lived it day in and day out for a year and a half to figure it out, what works, what doesn't work. And most of that is what we share with all of our franchisees before they open a club. And then we go in, Brian, myself, we have probably a team of 3 or 4 people when you first open your club that's there for a good solid 4 to 5 days, just glued to your side, helping you through every step of the way, to make sure that you have a good foundation and to get you started. And I was in St. Petersburg with the Goddles last week, and they must have said 20 times, I can't believe you guys, like corporate comes out and spends all this time with us. Like it blows me away. And I say out loud and I think to myself, why would we have it any other way? Like I could not just throw you guys to the wolves and tell you to figure it out. I mean, being by your side and helping you through that in the beginning is like so important to get you started on the right foot. So
yeah, our executive team is very involved with the openings. And I have a gut feeling that when we open Las Vegas, we're going to have more.
Think somebody wants to come out?
Everyone's going to want to come, and we're going to have to say no. You can go.
Don't say no. Don't say no. Bring them all. I mean, one of the benefits of our location we're going to be opening up our first one in Henderson, but it's literally right across the street from Sunset Station Casino. They have 400 rooms. Like we can, there's going to be easy. Just walk across the street and you're at our club. I mean, it's going to be easy. Awesome. And there's food, there's bars, there's dancing. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. You know what? This is the perfect opportunity to take our second shot because we've been so involved in the conversation. We haven't taken our second shot yet. But let's talk about the opening. Cheers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So I love the location that you picked. How many locations did we look at that day? 5 or 6, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that spot. I mean, lots of parking, very nice area. I'm totally stoked about it. And I think I told you that day because as I'm traveling, looking at locations with RDs, I give them grades like A, B, C, D. I'm like, Greg, that's an A. You know, there was a little bit of an issue with like a duct or something, and you were like, I don't know. I'm like, it'll be fine. And that's one of the reasons why I like to go out and walk locations because I've walked all of them. Well, there's 2 that I haven't been to yet, but I'm going to get around to that. Because to me, it's just critical that you're successful. Like whatever I can do to contribute to the decision making to make you successful. I know a lot of our competitors don't look at it that way. And trust me, with 24 open now, I'm getting stretched a little thin. But what I'm starting to do now is pull back from some other things to continue being on the road and visiting and giving my 2 cents.
Well,
Yeah,
that was so amazing to me. I mean, literally, you called me up one day and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be in San Francisco. Let's get together for dinner." So we get together with dinner at Dr. Ben, Chris, and Paul. We all have a really nice dinner together. And then you said, I'm going to make a road trip down to Vegas. I want to see all the locations that you're looking at. I mean, this is the founder of Dill Dinkers saying, I'm going to make a road trip down to Vegas to look at all the potential locations and help you choose one. That
Yeah.
blew us away. So
Yeah.
thank you. That made such a difference because we were looking at these 5, 6 different locations and we had all the pros and cons but we haven't opened one. We
yeah,
don't know what's going to make one successful or more successful than another. But as soon as you went there and you immediately called me and go, that location is the A. That's the number one. Then we got really serious with Dr. Ben and with our realtors, and we said, okay, we got to make this deal work. And it took a little more negotiation, but we made it work.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great road trip because in San Francisco we were looking at a potential location, and then I drove through Central
Fresno.
Valley.
Yeah, you went to Fresno.
And Bill Ravilla looked at his location that he was looking at. Now, that was an A. And now it didn't work out, but one of our strategies is you work as many locations as possible because you never know when you're going to lose it. The landlord can say, well, so-and-so is giving me $3 a square foot more, and just yank it right out from under you. And then got to drive through Death Valley on my way to Vegas, which has always been on my bucket list. And it was just a great road trip. I really, really liked it. Got a lot done. And that's what we try to do when I'm out on the road is just support as many people as possible. If there's somebody, it's an hour or 2-hour drive away, I'll just jump in my car and just drive out there. One time I drove from Sarasota all the way to Hilton Head to meet Denise for the grand opening. And she didn't know I was coming. It was kind of like a last minute kind of thing. So we actually got to do an opening together, which is pretty rare. Usually she's out there with her team. Like there's different things that happen. So I'm involved in a lot of first of all, there's Dr. Ben, who's involved in the franchise and RD process. And then it's myself and the franchise business consultants are involved in walking locations, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes Ben comes, but not usually. And then we kind of like turn it over to Denise and her team. And then the final part of it is the FBCs and their support they're going to give you. So you have an amazing FBC, Lulu. She's going to be a lot of fun. She's a high-level player, and she loves pickleball, and she loves community.
Well, we also work with Andrea, and Andrea also is amazing. So Lulu's been
Oh, that's right.
wonderful. Andrea. I mean, all the FDCs are amazing. So you got, like I said, you have a fantastic team. What I really want to ask Denise is like, is Will going to make the cut to make it to Vegas opening? I don't know. Are you going to let him come out?
I don't know. We'll have to
he's
flip
on the
a
list.
coin.
Is he going to have to barter with somebody to make it out, to make the
I
cut?
know. I know, exactly. Yeah, everyone's going to be fighting over it. We all want to be there.
Yes,
Well,
we
we'd
do.
love to have as many people as possible.
Mhm.
And as we get closer to our opening, I also wanted to ask, in your two's opinion, what makes the most successful grand opening?
Good question. I would say definitely making sure that building awareness so that people know that you're opening. I mean, and flood the courts. We do usually do 5 to 7 days of free play to welcome the community. It also gives us an opportunity to train the staff and work with the players and get them to understand our programming and our systems and things like that. So building awareness, and then also being part of the community and making sure that you've been out there and you've met people and they've met you and they get to know you, much like Greg got to know us at the dinner. It's kind of the same thing. You just get out in the community and build awareness that way as well. Add that personal touch. The more ingrained you are in the community when you open those doors, the people will come in and
Yeah.
they will play.
Engagement is huge.
Mhm.
I mean, we've had a couple of franchisees where they weren't overly engaged and they're not as successful as somebody that has the engagement level off the charts. So we really, really say, look, if you want to be successful, when somebody thinks about Dill Dinkers, they need to think about Brigie and they need to think about Uncle Greg. Because when people think about Dill Dinkers in Maryland, they think about her. They think
And
about
him.
Brian. Because when you're creating this community and this third place, you need to have ringleaders and you need to have people to help orchestrate things. Like we literally have several days a week where we have players that actually organize their own programming. They do contract time for courts and they just do their own thing. Like Sunday nights, I think it's how many players are in that group, Terry's group?
A lot. I mean,
It's
there's
almost
over
100 players.
Yeah.
And they just and that's because we make it welcoming, and we do all the right things for people to. It's their club. We just happen to own it. And I think that's the way people look at it.
Mhm.
Because we've had a competitor, one of the 5 major franchises, open up like 20 minutes away from our flagship first location. The only time people go and play there is when there's a wait list at our facility. Like they want to play pickleball. So what we're going to have to do is open another facility within 5 or 10 minutes of our first one in order to handle the overflow. Because if you don't fill the demand yourself, somebody else will fill it.
Yeah, it's true. I have to ask you, because this is our New Year celebration episode, what resolutions do you have for 2026?
As it relates to
Anything. I mean, you've had 2 shots with us. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be personal. It could be anything. Business. Doesn't have to be Dill Dinkers.
Yeah.
From a business perspective, we went off on a couple of different tangents in 2025. We started Certified Pickleball Player. We're very deep in experimenting with pickleball simulators. There's just a couple things that we did to try to help support franchisees for the future. So this year we're going to kind of take a step back and we're going to stop introducing new things. And we're going to become more focused operationally, more focused on getting units open efficiently and supporting them. Because like last year was just that time frame where we got to try to make our whole thing more robust and give the franchisees more tools. So I know Brian Lloyd has a whole list of things that he's going to be working on. There's camera systems and programming and Swish. I can't forget to mention our great partners at Court Reserve, Tim and Ashley Owens.
Mm-hmm.
They've been a huge part of our success. So we're just going to kind of do a little bit of recalibration and fine tune some things because we really feel like the foundation is there and it's time to just blow this thing up, if you will. What's yours?
I have a lot of them to try to stay a little bit, not get in the weeds too much, stay a little bit high level. I think, 2026 is really about getting as many clubs opening and spreading as much of the Dill Dinkers joy across the nation as we possibly can. And so we're going to be really focused on that.
Ultimately, we're hoping to have 50 units open by this time next year.
Yeah.
So we got to open 26. Now we're also focusing on taking over some independents because we get calls almost daily from around the country. Like, I'm struggling a little bit. Can you help? And then, can you buy me or can I become a Dill Dinkers franchisee? So there's going to be a lot of that next year as well.
Mm-hmm. It's exciting.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very
Super
much so.
exciting.
So Greg, what is your big focus for next year? What's your goal? And Brigie,
Well, there's just this little project called opening up a Dill Dinkers.
Yeah,
I don't know. That might be taking up a lot of my time and effort. No, you know what it is, honestly, it's like we really want to add to the Las Vegas pickleball community.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got some fantastic people
Mm-hmm.
and very similar to other parts of the country. They're all in their little pockets, right? There's a little bit pocket here, there's a pocket there. Some people go to these courts, some people go to this. I want to really create a place where they can all converge and meet new people and develop new relationships. And you mentioned leagues and open plays where you get to play with, like level people. I think having that type of structured programming to bring the community together here in Las Vegas is something that's missing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I will, that's kind of my resolution is like, if Brigie and I can make that happen, we've done something special.
Yeah.
And what you're going to find when your first club is open is you're going to look forward to going to it. Like you're going to jump out of bed with a spring in your step. And then once that's established and up and running and you've developed that community, you're going to want to do another one. And then because when we first started this, we opened 4 clubs in 10 months. We were going to try to do 6 in a year, but one got pushed off because of construction. It wound up, we opened several clubs in less than 60 days. But our club in Manassas, it was a huge undertaking in the mall, and it took a year to do. And then there was one that no matter how we tried to make it work, it just wasn't going to work. This was the learning process. One of the reasons why we opened so many so quickly, knowing that we were going to franchise is, okay, we're the ones that have to make the mistakes because we don't want a franchisee to make the mistake. That's when we learned you don't make them too big. It's when we learned there's a certain dollar amount that you don't go over. There's certain demographics that you don't do. So in going through all that process and learning all of that, a lot of that came from my experience as a Domino's Pizza franchisee, the mistakes that I made as a franchisee, and learning those lessons and applying it to our business model so our franchisees are successful. But I can't wait for you to open, man. And then
it will be all consuming. You're right. So that's a good 2026 goal there.
Brigie, what about you? What's yours?
Well, similarly, I think it is the Dill Dinkers that's going to be taking over both of our lives for 2026, which is a great life to be living. But I also want to focus on the exciting events that we can host at Dill
Oh
Dinkers.
yeah.
I think Las Vegas has a lot going on, but sometimes the more family oriented or the stuff away from the tourist attractions on the strip
Mhm.
is harder to find. So I think we'll be able to kind of fill that need for people. So
I love that.
2026 is looking good for all of us.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
It's going to be an
Yeah.
amazing.
So before we sign off, if people want to find out more about being a franchise or a regional developer with Dill Dinkers, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Dilldinkers.com. There's a form to fill out that gets you into our franchise management system, and we'll reach out and call you, have a couple discussions, invite you to Discovery Day. Yeah, take you around, visit some Dill Dinkers. Who knows? We might have to move Discovery Day to Las Vegas.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I think we have a room for you. We have, we have the course. We'll be able to really represent what Dill Dinkers is all about. I mean, that's what Brigie and I are going to create for you.
And we're
That's
so
awesome.
we're so glad that you and your team and Brigie are part of the family now, because we feel like you guys are going to do a great job out there.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you. You're getting me all choked up now.
I know. We got to do a toast here.
Yes, we do. We got to do our favorite third shot
Our third
Yeah.
shot.
All right.
to Dill Dinkers in Henderson. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the address. It's going to be at 1221 West Warm Springs in Henderson, Nevada. Come out and join us. Cheers.
Cheers! Yay!
Oh my gosh,
That was
so much
so
fun having
fun.
you.
So have you ever had anybody get really drunk on your podcast? Like somebody that's not a big drinker, and after 2 shots they're like, "Wee!"
Yeah, you're looking at them.
Yeah. I'm just
It
sitting here
happens
thinking,
all the time.
we have all these errands to run this afternoon. I'm not sure if they're really going to happen. But we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Well, good luck to you. And I want to thank you again for joining us on the show. Thank you, everybody listening and watching, for joining us on Third Shot, where Brigie and I will continue to share our pickleball journey. This is a really special episode, and I really want to thank Denise and Will for coming on and helping us with the big announcement. Please go to dilldinkers.com. There's a lot of information on the website. You can find locations near you. You can sign up and show interest to being a franchisee or a regional developer. Check them out on social media. They have a fantastic Instagram page, Facebook page, LinkedIn. Just search for Dill Dinkers and you will find a lot more information. So again, special thanks to Denise and Noel, and we promise to have more amazing guests on future episodes of Third Shot Podcast, just like Denise and Will for future episodes. So let's continue to enjoy and share the enjoyment of the game, and let's build this pickleball community together. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.
Thank you.